There has to be a point where you really, again, look at things differently. You want to maintain that inner peace. You cannot continue to accept what appears to be as a coherent, logical way of proceeding. It's illogical.
I remember this episode that I was watching on YouTube of Abraham Hicks, and there was this lady talking about, kind of like beating around the bush, that she was very surprised that her friend had passed away, and she had been kind of in the same mindset as her, like they were growing together in the abundance mindset, miracle mindset, like connecting more to God and all of these other things. And so she was beating around the bush, basically saying, like, why did she pass when things were getting so good? And should I be afraid that I'm going to pass really soon because I'm also getting into that deeper connection with God, miracle mindset, abundance mindset, all is well mindset? And I just remember Abraham Hicks like making a joke and laughing, and so he was actually the one to figure out that she had that question because she wasn't even able to verbalize it. Maybe she didn't even consciously know. He was like, are you saying you're just afraid that the same thing's gonna happen to you because you're on that same all is well boat? And so there's a part of me, right? Maybe if now I feel 80 to 90%. There's a part of me that says, so competition mindset activated. Okay, so then do I want to leave younger because that means I did a better job at accomplishing my mission?
You're more efficient.
Um, or, and again, at the same time, another part of me is like, okay, then let me really slow the mission down so I can be here longer. And so I just think that's really interesting how these parts can often like contradict. And I imagine that that's a like a tussle or
Tug of war.
a tug of war between a lot of people. They're like, wow, I want to feel what full peace is, and at the same time I also want to see my kids get older and graduate or get married or whatever. And so I imagine it's finally when the tug of war of I want full peace wins, right? Or
And
maybe
the acceptance that
yeah,
your kids, your grandkids, they're all going to be good.
yeah,
The part of you that says I want to see that is the part of you that still does not believe you are an eternal being.
mm, yeah,
You know, it's that it is that's the split mind saying, but this is a really good movie. I don't want to trust that it's going to end happy and leave the theater.
yeah,
So I would say if this subject is bringing some strain and unrest within, like, oh my gosh, do I have to slow down my progress or I'm going to poof drop dead, you know, because I learned everything I wanted to learn. I would say the moment you start feeling strain within you, yeah, it's time to, go eat an ice cream cone or have a piece of cake. Like it's time to start thinking about something else. If you're sitting here really going like, I wonder when I've decided to leave this world. Don't do that.
yeah,
You might be observing someone who it's very obvious they are on their way out. Hold space for them. But don't sit and analyze what you're not privy to.
yeah,
When people are getting close to
yeah,
that, they may say things like, I think my luck has run out. Or I feel, I just feel like, sooner rather than later. Okay, you're not sad, you're not worried, you're not going to be fearful. You're going to, if you're in a position to support and encourage them, you're going to go, well, you're an eternal being. Although they might already know that. The ones who are so in tune with the timing of their departure, they already know. They're not afraid. They're not afraid to still go in the direction where their departure departs from.
Yeah. And then on the final note, this one's a more personal one, so I might cut it off or maybe not. We'll see. The last thing I wanted to ask you is sometimes I feel the personal. Okay, that was too many eyes. Okay, I feel that sometimes the reason I'm so anxious and rush all the time, I don't know why my voice went up so much, is because maybe I feel like I don't have that much time, or that, yeah. And so I don't know if I related to my mom that she was always rushing and doing everything go, go, go and fast and racing towards the finish line of a race, it would seem. The winning prize was that she got to leave at 54. I don't know. But there's a part of me that's like, what is the spiritual meaning of feeling so much rush energy and like I have to do it all now? And so I've just been sitting with that recently because I know the answer will differ from person to person. So I've been sitting like, is my rush energy me trying to avoid, fear of the unknown and of death and all of these things that make me feel deeply uncomfortable when I think about sickness and deterioration of the body and things like that? Or is it me feeling like maybe I don't have as much time as I thought I would, right? Because there was a point where I wanted to live until 101, because I was born in 99, and so I would be in 3 centuries. I'd be alive in like 3 centuries.
Wow,
And so I
that's
remember
cool.
from very little, I was like, that would be so cool. That's my goal. And researching about blue zones and just getting on that role. It did become a little like more obsessive than healthy at that point. But anyways, after my mom passed away so early, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I want to live up to 101, and I don't even feel like I could because this living thing can be quite a ride. So yeah, I'm sitting with that. I don't have the answer yet of is it me being on a rush because I'm avoiding things that, want love instead of fear to be replaced or transformed? Or is it more of source being like, hey, we need you to hurry up? I don't know. And like you
Source is
said,
not
it
going to leave you
shouldn't
out.
be my goal to try to figure that out either.
Right, right. And to be putting so much attention on it. If I could refer, I think it's really neat when you propose the idea that your earthly humanly lifespan or life spanned across 3 centuries. I think that is that little seeping in of the truth on that macrocosmic level, that your life spans a very, very long time, much more than 3 centuries. And so in the mindset, in the mind of the child that you were, do you remember how young you were when you thought that, when you first were like, I want to live till I'm 101?
Yeah, maybe like first grade or something like
First
that.
grade. Great. So,
Second
so,
grade, yeah.
so you hadn't blocked out that the the truth of the essence within you that lives a long time.
Yeah.
And so in a first grader's mind, 300 years or 3 centuries is a long time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
microcosmically, there's the reflection, and then what gets in the way of that intention and that determination? Oh my gosh, it's hard being here. Earthly life is kind of a pain. Earthly life is painful. And then immediately you truncate that span to, it's not an arbitrary number. The number of years you end up staying is not an arbitrary number. So the leap of faith again has to be your go-to strategy to, I'll stay as long as I intended. Who am I? I am the source, and I am the extension of it. My will align with oneness, and I will retreat, retract, return to the center when I have intended to.
Yeah.
And we've already heard Abraham Hicks deliver the message that you'll never get it all done here. You cannot fit the infinite in a finite container. And that's construct-wise of numerically speaking. You cannot put an infinite number of popcorn kernels in a finite container. You cannot put an infinite number of experiences in a finite experience. You cannot put eternity. Eternity cannot, or rather, time cannot circumvent eternity.
Yeah. There was something I was thinking about the other day, that, we have this formula that the more we can do of X in the least amount of time means the most effective we are. And so you just mentioned that, someone that lived less, just got their mission done faster. And so they were more effective by virtue of that definition.
That's right.
And at the same time, I was thinking of this exercise I was doing in my head of being like, this is so funny. Why would we score effectiveness on time if that doesn't even exist? And so I was thinking of like, what if it was a measure of how much fun we had, right, in the time that we had, or how present we were in that time, right? Because there's been a lot of cool things that have happened in my life, but I've been in anxious mode or rush energy that I'm not even very present to experience that goodness. And so I was thinking about how funny it was that we think about it as the more in the least amount of time, and it's just a silly game too. Because it gets us to collect,
right? Yes. It's a silly way to even score the game. It's like, let's come up with a way to score this game to figure out whether you won or lost, or whether you were, you were a good player, and then that's what we're doing it based on, right? How quick did you do it?
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't. It's not like that.
And so then my brain was like, what if it was how many people you impacted or helped or said something triggering that then helped them, right? That they see you as a villain, but it did something within them. Or how much you smiled, or how many plants patterns you got to actually see close up and be like, oh my gosh, you're so cool, you're beautiful, or whatever. And so it was kind of like an interesting thing, which I feel like it might be getting closer to the truth, but it's still in that duality of the rules, right? How many? 90? 100? Did you do as good as you could? Could you have done 1,000 impacts? Yeah. Could you have done 1,000 more laughs? And so then in that category way, like that formula of effectiveness or all of this also loses its magic, because like in that series that I told you about, the good place, right? It talks about how in this kind of crazy world scenario that they're proposing, that you go to the good place or heaven if you if you have done like these many good deeds, blah blah. But then the story is that they actually find out that in that perfection of a place, there's a lot of flaws and weird things happening. So they actually realize that that's actually the bad place or hell, and um, and then they finally understood that it was because like even buying a tomato in this time and place was something that like in their score system that they portrayed was negative karma points because it was like
Well,
paid like gotten by a on like not fairly paid person XYZ, and so basically they were saying like everyone born after this year doesn't even get a chance to be in the good place because every action you do, the like even as neutral as buying a tomato doesn't get you in there. And so it's just like I feel like it's just a philosophical exercise of um like when we watch the news, it's like, oh, sometimes we're like, oh, every I then that's why I decide to never watch it, and when someone is watching it to run as fast as I can because it kind of reinforces that like, oh, no matter what we do, everything is bad and so
according to the news.
yeah, according to the news. So I just wanted to share that with you
Well,
about those numbers.
piggybacking on the this would have been part this should have been part of the of the first part.
Okay, let me
uh,
clap so I can edit it.
Perfect. um the tomato, the carrot, the lettuce, the fish, the cow, the chicken, in order for you to live, death has to happen.
Mm,
You cannot live in this world without something having to die.
mm,
That's on the outside and the inside. It doesn't matter when you bought the tomato, who you bought the tomato from. The tomato was a living being. And when you picked it, you cut off its nutrient source. It is no longer alive. How quickly do you have to eat the tomato in order for it to benefit you? Because the tomato will eventually rot, right? You got to do it quickly. Here's the essence of time again. We're
mhm,
racing against the clock. We want our produce to be fresh. We want it to be just ripe enough, but not too ripe. And if it's not ripe enough, then it's not ready, right? So again, give the tomato back its free will. That may sound silly. If you study the raw material, the law of one, the channeled work of the law of one, you will understand that plants and animals are second density beings.
mhm,
They have free will. They are alive. They are part of the one. They are collaborating with us. That tomato, no matter how it was grown, it agreed. It agreed to appear, to project the holographic form of an edible fruit.
yeah.
Okay? First density beings, rocks, elements, minerals, they have freedom. They have free will. They are collaborating with second and third density beings to make up the matter that, forms our cells and the organelles and the, cells in the plants. And yes, we're all collaborating. But the body's eyes would tell you that you have to kill in order to live. And then you'll go, well, it's okay because in the Bible, it says that man will have dominion over plants and animals.
Mm,
I mean, you know that cows can be sad and afraid, right?
yeah.
You're willing to believe that that's okay? Their feelings don't matter? So you can have your filet and the leather seats in your car. I like filet. I have leather seats in my car. There has to be a point where you really, again, look at things differently. You want to maintain that inner peace. You cannot continue to accept what appears to be as a coherent, logical way of proceeding. It's illogical. Because it's not real. What are you going to do about it? You're going to be happy no matter what. Should you get injured physically, you will quickly center yourself back to that source of power and love and energy within you. And if you have decided and intended to continue on in this world, you will allow that source to heal what appears to be a dysfunctional, interruption in functioning. You'll allow your injury to heal quickly. You won't say things like, I don't heal fast, or whatever. I'm genetically inferior because, this disease runs in my family. Mm-hmm. You're going to stop claiming to have these weaknesses and these scenarios where you appear to lack. You will know what to do in the moment you are faced with a decision. And sometimes that might mean that you might be in a situation where you're holding a firearm and you're pressing a trigger and launching a projectile out of that firearm. And it might appear that you're taking someone's life. And again, I say this because I'm in a geographic location where there are lots of people who legally are of this profession where they have firearms, and they go places where they're supposed to aim the firearms at other living people. And they're supposed to follow directions and orders and pull the trigger. And they do. And they feel bad. You cannot usurp the will of God. You cannot destroy energy. You cannot take a life. I know this is ballsy. It's bold. It sounds arrogant, maybe. No, it's not arrogance. It's conviction. So, all that from the tomato. The tomato chose.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad for it. Be grateful. Be appreciative. Thank the tomato. Thank the molecular consciousness that is playing this game with you, appearing to be a tomato. Thank it.
Yeah.
Bless it. Release it to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Let go. I gotta go eat a tomato, Mai. I'm hungry.
Oh, thank you so much.
Even though I am sustained by the love of God in the game right now, I'm going to go.
Yeah. I was just going to say that I looked up how many cells are born every day for that first.
How many cells are, yeah.
And it says our body produces 330 billion new cells every day, mostly of blood cells and gut lining cells. And it was saying that your body is 1% a new body every day if we were looking at total cells.
That's pretty fantastic.